Learning is a process and takes time and effort. Reading your chapter or other materials before class can make a difference in how much you understand, remember, and how well you participate in the class. Reading before the lecture will help you to have another exposure to that particular information, which begins to increase the likelihood that you will be able to remember that information and will be able to process ideas about that information on a deeper level. This becomes very important when you're trying to remember information for, let's say, an exam. One thing you can do to help you read with the goal of being able to remember the information is to break your reading sessions up into smaller segments of time rather than trying to read everything in one giant segment. So instead of reading for 3 hours, try reading every day for 30 to 45 minutes. You'll be surprised at how much more you can retain.
When you sit down to read, don't treat it as a passive activity where the only thing that needs to happen is the words passing before your eyes. Understanding won't come through via osmosis. Instead, be an active reader. I suggest you do the following things whenever you sit down to read for your classes. First, give the reading a quick skim. Move fast. Skip over any confusing passages. Just try to get the lay of the land. What kind of reading is this? What kind of information am I getting? Then dig in for some careful analytical reading. As you read, look for things in the reading. Look for the key terms, the things the reading is talking about. Look for important claims, the thing the reading is saying about the things it's talking about. Then look for important arguments. What reasons or evidence does the reading provide to justify its important claims? Actively looking for those things, terms, claims, and arguments as you read will really help your understanding. And make note of each of them by writing in your book or taking notes. Finally, take a few minutes to write down, in your own words, the definitions of the important terms, the important claims, and a nutshell of the important arguments. If you can do that, then you've understood the reading. If you can't, then keep reading or make a note and ask that specific question in class the next time.
When I was in law school, and then eventually graduate school, reading was an essential part of my intellectual growth. There was so much reading. Now, the reading did not become meaningful until I started to write down 2 to 3 questions I would ask in class or during my professor's office hours. And I personally love it when students come and ask me questions in class or come to talk to me about a reading. To be honest, I write the best letters of recommendation for those students because I can point to specific examples of their intellect and curiosity.
Did you know that the human brain in the first year of life nearly triples in size? An adult brain weighs approximately 3 pounds. And even though it's around 2% of your overall weight, it uses 20% of the body's blood and oxygen. Did you also know that the brain does not feel pain? It's the only place in the body without those nerve endings. Headaches are actually caused by chemical reactions in your brain combined with the muscles and nerves of your neck and head. You're using your brain to focus as you read, and it can take 23 minutes to return to concentration once you've gotten distracted. If you want reading to go quickly, if you want to retain the information, then you will need to eliminate as many distractions as you can and find ways to focus your brain on the task at hand. Identify what typically distracts your mind from focusing. Develop strategies to eliminate them. Putting your phone on airplane mode, closing other tabs on your internet browser, or soothing music to filter out background noise are just a few things that might help.
I recently watched a news special about a research study that was conducted at Harvard University. Researchers were investigating claims by students that they were more productive while studying when they multitasked, answering friends' texts, following Twitter feeds, listening to music. But the reality was that the students' claims were not true. And this isn't an isolated study. There are volumes of research available indicating that broadly, our brains aren't wired to multitask. Several studies have shown that students who texted during class took lower quality notes, retained less information, and did worse on tests than those students who didn't use their phones. Think about your own efforts to multitasking. If you're paying attention to one thing, it means you're paying less attention to other things in your environment. If you really want to get the most out of your time studying for exams and completing assignments, concentrate on the task at hand and eliminate distractions.